put it in the drawer. It's better than the other options. Anyway, back to this. This is a welded hull. Let's see. The first time or two that you mess with CAD, you can have a surprise. I haven't prepared this to do anything with, but we're going to try it anyway. Okay. Transform. Let's just move this thing from there to here. And then we should be able to get rid of half of it pretty quick. Where's delete? Now we got a half a boat. And we got a panel here of some kind. Side of the motor bay. It wouldn't hurt. Oh, it's that shows you that the width of the tunnel is twice that. It's 36.5-inch wide tunnel. Length is 205 inches. That's 17.16 feet. If you're going to put a car engine or something, you have to have enough air to float it. It's 6 feet, 2 5/8 wide. That way I can build it in the living room, stand it on edge and tote it through the door, or roll it on pipes or whatever. I can get it out of the house, which would be a handy thing. We don't need that because it's got it in the other view back here beside it. I don't know if this is going to work because I usually would have looked things over a little bit. Unroll developable surface. Let's just see how many it'll do all by itself. No, I don't want to do that. I got that one. I got something there. I don't think that is the surface. Anybody else want to come along? Okay, now we're going to push enter. And it's working on it. This makes a slow video. Oh, it went into save. So I don't think we got anything that time. If it goes to save while you're working, you're not going to get anything. It was in the middle of it. So we got one piece. Maybe that's two. No, I think that's only one. Down here. Surface. Unroll developable surface. It's frustrating when things don't do what you want them to do. That's a surface. Oh, select curves on poly surface unroll. No, we don't want that. That's why it's not working. Surface. Surface or poly surface to unroll. Well, we did one. Let's go do another one. We can do them one at a time. It's calculating the area because apparently there's something it doesn't like. Okay. This is an example. We just, you'll notice that the coordinate display is 0, 0 at this one corner. No matter where you do it on the drawing, it's going to move it to 0, 0. That's why the things are all sitting on top of each other. Because one corner is all on 0. I'm sure there's about this many more parts to the boat, and this is only one side. This is the top deck. The two sides of the sponson. This is probably the cockpit. Anyway, that's how quick it is to unwrap surfaces. Oh, that's the tunnel. See, we cut it in half, so this would be twice as wide. What I do is I use this section view just to have less pieces, but you would have to do your whole boat if you wanted a part that went over from one side to the other to get it included in the thing. Anyway, that's about how you do it. The advantage to this is once you drag all these pieces onto the plate, you drag, like this one I would probably flip it upside down so it would fit into this shape. And then this one here has got a curve, something like that, I'd put it beside it. And this one would probably go up against that. And then these two pieces would be over in here. And if this is longer than 8 feet, which I'm sure it is, because this is about 8 feet, I'd just cut it in two someplace, put it up on the plate that you're going to cut it out of, and then leave about 1 inch on the end, and use the edge of the plate to cut it in two, and then slide it up a 1/2 inch, so this all on the pattern. But you lay it out on the plate. The wood stitch and glues, you fiberglass from one side of the plywood before you cut it or anything. That keeps it from splintering when you cut it. And also you need a left hand and a right hand. So if you put the two fiberglass faces, one to the saw benches and one of them straight up, and clamp this stuff together, or put some nails where the pattern's not showing parts, you can drill all those little pilot holes for the wires, and anything else you have to put a hole in it. Goes through both pieces. But it's backed up so it doesn't splinter when it comes out the other side. And the saw blade won't much splinter it either. But you can't fiberglass both sides because you can't bend a sandwich panel. You take a 4x8 sheet of plywood and put 3 layers of glass on both sides and set it under 4 bricks on the corners. You can walk on it, it'll hold you right up. It won't give. But as soon as you put the glass on the other side, it's not going to bend anymore. At least nothing with anybody living on Earth has got to bend it with. You can destroy it, but you can't bend it. And if you did force it to bend, it wouldn't be a very smooth or a nice bend. Anyway, you do all the little stitch holes and all that kind of stuff. And then when you cut it out, you get a left hand and a right hand. which is kind of handy because they'll be exactly the same. And then you have a bunch of flat panels that, because they were already glassed on one side before you cut it, you have them cut out, you just push them all together on a table with the unglassed side up, and you just lay glass over the whole pile of them because they're all laying flat. And you can put them really close together. And once the epoxy or vinyl ester, to be better, starts to kick, you get a drywall knife. And it cuts just like a piece of soft heated plastic at that point. And you just run the blade along the edges, and then you have a really great edge. So it's glassed on both sides. When you put it in the boat, you haven't got to cut all those fiddly little pieces. And also the panels that are the bottom and the sides, they're not starting and stopping at every bulkhead and every frame and every block of wood you put in there. They're glassed from one end to the other. So it saves 2/3 of the time on building the boat. You still have that cut and tapes, that's the little narrow strips, a piece 2-inch, a piece 3, a piece 4. You put them on a piece of clear plastic, stack them on top of each other the way they're supposed to be. And then pour the resin down over the whole pile, all 3 layers at once. Put another piece of plastic on top, and squeegee the resin around till it goes through all the strips you've got laid out. And then you take your drywall knife and cut through it just inside of the widest piece of glass, and you peel the narrow side plastic off, put it in the seam, and you can push it around with that other piece of plastic that's still holding it all together, and then you peel that off. You can peel it off the next day, it won't be stuck. Polyethylene will not stick to fiberglass. And it leaves a real smooth finish and no frayed edges, little sharp, spiky edges to sand off. So I'd leave the plastic on it and then take it off later. And the outside, that's, this is a metal hull. That's a glass hull. If you wanted a compound surface on this metal boat, I'm not sure where you would want it, but if you did want a compound surface, you use like 3/4-inch styrofoam, like blue, has to be closed cell. 2 pounds to the cubic foot is generally the best. You can get it heavier, but all it does is add weight. It's a core. You're going to it's going to be stuck to the boat on one side with styrofoam adhesive, and the other side is going to be fiberglass. And the fiberglass is going to go up and cover the panels on either side. So all you're trying to do is make a shape. And so you can sand that styrofoam to any kind of shape once you stick it on there. So you could build a boat with a steel hull with really blotchy, squarish corners. Put styrofoam on it, cut it with a hot wire every place you can. That's pretty smooth, very little sanding. And then you sand around contours. If you want to know how to do that, look up Burt Rutan's book, BURTRUTAN. You can download instructions for building a VARI-EZ, VARI-EZZ, I believe it is. And there's an open source copy because the original plans are no longer for sale, so they got an open source version. But it shows you how to work with fiberglass and styrofoam and all that. Really good book. Doesn't take but 2 evenings to read it thoroughly, and you'll know how to do it by then. What's the time? Oh crap! Went past 30. Well, let's. Oh, well, I know it's past the time, but we got one more thing to look at. I mean, the time's already blown, so I haven't got no lose now. This bunch of lines here, it's because of things I've done to the drawing that make it look that way. But they were underneath of, I guess they're underneath of this. They're probably underneath of that. Yeah, this one's been cut. So you put the lines underneath of your boat or whatever you're making out of this kind of thing, of car body, whatever. And you just slice it up. You can use 2 2 lines and call it trim. If your computer doesn't have slice, use trim. You just take out everything between the lines.